Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of FS Economy with me and you heard 37. So I was searching around after our last flight, because I'm liking this so much I wanted to fly again. I was looking around at some smaller airports and really can't find anything. Sometimes there's not many jobs, and sometimes there's just not the plane that we have. Or maybe there's the plane, but it's a personal one that they're not renting out. So I switched over. I did find these three. It's KCVG, that is Northern Kentucky Cincinnati International Airport. I believe it's an international airport. Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International. It says it's in Cincinnati. It's actually in Covington, Kentucky. And we've got this flight. It's only 28 miles to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. I didn't realize that University of Miami, Ohio is only 28 miles from Cincinnati. But anyway. It's only 28 nautical miles, as you can see. The plane has 25 gallons, so that's 46%, so we don't even need to add any fuel into this one. You can see 4 seats, so that's me and 3 passengers. And we should be able to, 10 gallons, so it can fly right now for 2.5 hours, so it's plenty of fuel. We're just going 28 nautical miles. Shouldn't even be a half hour, maybe around a half hour or so. But with that, we can go over and get in to our plane. Alright everybody, here we are in our plane. All of a sudden the views don't want to work. Alright. Anyhow, we should go over to FS Economy. I don't know why those don't want to disappear. Try this again. Action, start flight. It always wants me to add for some reason. We'll ignore that, but we've got our people. Just in case we want to make sure. Goes from departing to en route. Alright. This full screen again. And we'll go ahead and load it. I don't think I can even pull that, can I? Should have already been on, really. Alright. Go ahead and get her started up. And battery on. Let's get where's our fuel pump? Turn on the nav and the beacon. If I can ever hit this. Actually, put that in. Alright, she's started up. Knock off the fuel pump. Pitot heat. Go ahead and trim this real quick. That looks good. Let's go ahead and hit up ATC. Let me check something real quick. They said that we did have GPS on this flight. Well, that's a bunch of crap, because it did say GPS. Alright. Apparently we need to switch to IFR then. Really, daggone it. Let me make an IFR one real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Under clearance. It was north, but I just want to make sure, so we'll just go ahead and do this. Request IFR clearance, and now it won't let me do that. Unreal as well. You know what would help? Actually, we might have GPS. I forgot about that. Unreal. Alright, we do have GPS. So now, I'm going to reload it. Be right back. Alright, so now we have our GPS. Helps when you turn it on, right? Thought it was messing with me. Alright, tune to ground. We're going to go to the north.
Cincinnati ground, Cessna, November 176 Charlie, Mike with Mike. Request taxi for takeoff, departure to the north.
Can't believe I forgot to turn that on. Don't use this plane much.
Taxi to and hold short of runway 18 left.
18 left.
Sierra 3 Tango. Contact tower on 118.907.
Acknowledge that.
Runway 18 left.
Turn on our progressive taxi.
3 Tango. Cessna 6 Charlie Mike.
Alright, let's see. Someone behind us. Just turn on the taxi lights. Alright, I'm going to switch the GPS. And let's go ahead and start taxiing. Alright. I'm wondering if this is going to be the very end of the runway and they're going to want us to go look way down. That's going to suck. I don't know why they got to make it take off to the south unless it really knows that the wind. I kind of question whether or not FSX really knows. Because they seem to be in the habit of making you taxi the furthest away that they can. Which is very annoying. Alright. Well, we don't have to go all the way down though. It does look like this is... Oh, maybe not. I thought there was a runway over here, but now I'm not seeing it. Well, yeah, there it is. Oh my god, I turned way too soon. I couldn't see the line there. Whoops. My bad. It has to be 18 left because of where it is. So we'll go on down here a little ways and then just get on the runway. Of course, we'll talk to them first. But good that we didn't have to taxi very far. And one thing I don't like to be in these large airports with a plane like this, because you got all the big aircraft everywhere, and sometimes it can slow you down a lot when you got all of them. So I don't really like big airports like this. So we'll skip this taxiway, even though it's probably far enough. We'll go on down to the next one, and then cut on over. Should be... Yes, should be far enough. For this little Cessna Skyhawk. Don't need that much. Taxiing kind of quick, I know. I always taxi quick. Alright. I never said anything. Because I set it for about 3,500 feet. I'm not sure when we'll get that far. I mean, it's what, 28 miles? I can't believe I didn't turn on the avionics. Because then when I went to go turn on something else on, I looked at the radio stack and I was like, oh man, I did not realize that was a ramp like that. But I looked and everything was black and I was just like, oh jeez. What have I done? That's when I realized I didn't turn the damn thing on. Go up the tower there. Request our clearance.
Tower, Cessna, November 176,
Flaps.
Charlie Mike at runway 18
Sorry, I retracted it there for a second.
Departure to the north.
Cessna, November 176, Charlie Mike, cleared for takeoff. Runway 18 left.
Sweet, got our clearance.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 18
Can turn on the landing lights and strobe. We're trimmed and ready to go. Let me bring this up real quick. Alright. Let's go for it. You can see just under a half tank of fuel. So we are good to go. That first flight kind of scared me. It scared me with the fuel. But we should be easy with this one. Do a rolling takeoff. thought about using the A2A, but I'm kind of worried about that with loading. Because it has its own loading thing with it. Like, I tried it in FS Passengers, and there's no way to do it. Everyone has a problem with it in FS Passengers, so I figured we'll just do the Skyhawk for right now, for the default one, I should say. Alright, go ahead and retract the flaps. Alright, go ahead and turn to the left. Been to Cincinnati many a times, but I've actually flown out of the airport a couple times as well. Pretty nice airport. Nothing amazing. It's everyone refers to it as the Cincinnati airport, but like it actually is in Kentucky, right across the river in Covington, which is just part of the big area anyway. There in Covington. I'm gonna get too close over there. Trying to trim it out. Remove this. Autopilot for the altitude. Nav because we switched to GPS. I just don't like being that. I shouldn't have cut it back so quick over towards the airport. You don't want to be over the edge like that. I shouldn't have done that. $700 feet a minute, that's what we want. 28 miles out. I'm not even sure. Alright, it's 5 and 23. 5 is actually probably what we're going to want, because that's straight in. So let's go ahead and go up to 2x. Don't need to go too quick. Might actually be able to get Covington. Oh, there's going to be a bunch of airports, I bet, though. Miami University, KOXD. Listen to the traffic. Alright, we will go runway 5. Full stop landing. We'll holler on that in just a second. It is not snowy, and the Ohio River is not frozen over on it. In fact, I don't think the Ohio ever freezes up there. Well, I only live about 3 hours away or so from Cincinnati. But I used to drive for a company, and we used to have to take railroad workers up there quite a bit. Not the funnest drive. Took something called the AA Highway, and it's the most dangerous road or highway or whatever in the state of Kentucky. Because so much of it is just boring. It's out literally like in the middle of nowhere, almost all of it. And a good portion of it is only 2 lanes, and you got some hills and everything. And it's just, it sucks that it's only 2 lanes, because they do have passing lanes for the slow lane, I should say, up on the hills and everything. It's just ridiculously slow, 55 miles an hour, and I guess people have a habit of falling asleep and crashing on it. And we had a driver one time, his very first job for the company, and he goes up there and he's taking a guy, and he falls asleep on the way up there and almost wrecked. Went clear across incoming traffic onto the other shoulder and almost killed him. Very first day on the job. That's great. It's kind of frowned upon, almost killing yourself and the other person. Alright, 18 miles away. I'm going to switch this over to heading. We're going to go up to the left a little bit. Move that over to heading. Well, there is that NDB for 5. I remember looking at the map, I thought the NDB was on the other side. Doesn't really matter. It's just a small little airport. I'm really shocked that it's only like 30 miles away from that. Miami of Ohio is only 30 miles away. I had no idea at all that it was that close. Small little Mac school. I went to Marshall, and Marshall used to be in the Mac as well. I think we won the freaking Mac conference in football every year except the very last year because of a muffed punt. Now we're over in Conference USA, which ain't that great. Now it's our position. We're going to go ahead and get down to 2,000 feet. We'll probably actually get down a little lower back. Go out just a little bit further. We won't use the NDB approach. We'll just come straight in visually. Actually, we're going to break that to 2,200 feet. Sometimes it's hard to see when you get down too low. Doesn't seem like we're high off the ground at all. We're here at 2,500 feet. Actually, we'll leave it at 2,500 feet. A little easier to see. But I've gotten down a little quick. We're about 9 miles out. I gotta remember to slow this thing down to normal speed as well. I almost wonder if I made the right choice by just coming in visually. I mean, we can still do the NDB for runway 5. I'll just leave it. I'm just worried that we're a little too low and it's going to be a little more difficult to see the runway. Not going to be able to see anything. Make our turn in just a second. Not quite there just yet. I don't think that's going to be it. So I wanted to be able to see it in time so that we're not diving down towards the runway. I'm going to have a habit of that sometimes. Coming in too hot. Too high and too hot. Alright, we'll turn this down to normal. Go ahead and make our turn. Probably went out a little too far. Been on to 2,200. Yeah, I think we need to cut out a little more. It's going to be it right there. Well, no. The runway doesn't seem to be going the correct way. If that's us. I see no other airports on the map. It's gotta be us. It's going a little... It looks... On here, it looks straighter out, but it's gotta be us. Go down to 2,000. Let's cut over a little bit more. Come in a little bit straighter. Act like we know what we're doing. A little more in front of the passengers. 4 miles out. Yell at it, but final here in just a second. Alright, autopilot is off. Plane is mine. Trim it a little bit here. On final.
Cessna, November 176 Charlie. Mike is on final. Runway 5 to land.
Alright, slow down so we can start getting our flaps out. Come on. Alright, here's the flaps coming out. There we go. That's what we needed. I think we're plenty good on our height. We didn't come in too high. If anything, we're too low, I guess. Come on, trim down for me. Why you have to be so difficult? Couple more flaps. We're a little high now. Full flaps. And we ended up way too high, although we got ballooned up a little bit with the flaps as well. It's part of it. Alright. Trying to get lined up. We got a little low there. Oh, came in hot. Yeah, shoot, I really couldn't get lined up. There's a little wind blowing around. Blowing me off its course. We got down alright. We'd like to come down a little better and a little softer, but not like we crashed or anything. Check the flaps. Alright. Tell everyone we're off the runway. I can't remember if I did it on my last flight or not, now that I think about that. Landing lights off, strobe is off. Alright. Just going over here and to the building. I can be done with this flight, make a little more money. If I can remember how to taxi. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I had to take my hand off the controls and I got wild with it. Should have just taxied on down here. On the runway. Just stayed on the runway. I was actually getting hard on the brakes to try and exit here, and then now it's kind of pointless. I think we made some decent money with this plane. Didn't use hardly any fuel at all. I mean, look, it's still just under half. It's got probably, what, maybe over 35% or so? and the rental was not much. The fuel won't cost too much. Got 3 paying passengers. So not, all in all, not too bad. Won't pay 10 grand like the last one, but they're not all gonna pay 10 grand. It's just, the one thing I don't like is sometimes there's planes there that people aren't renting out, but I mean, that's their prerogative if they own the plane. And there's so many planes that I don't have. I guess I could get freeware versions of them, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to really use them, so I don't know if it's really worth it to go and download a plane that I probably will never hardly ever use except on here on occasion. We'll go ahead and park it over here on the left. Are you not a type? Are you gonna just go around to the right now? Alright, there's a parking space there. Oh, that's the freaking fuel. We don't want to go to the fuel. Never go to the fuel. Found that out in Air Hauler. Never go to the fuel. Daggone it. Should just tack it straight over here. I don't want to go to the fuel just because I'm afraid it'll mess it up. Because whenever you turn off the engine over at the fuel box, it tries to fuel you up, and I don't know if FS Economy will stop it or not. That could mess with it, I'm afraid. Although I guess when they start up it was not this plane, so maybe it wouldn't have. Parking brake. Let's go ahead and cut the fuel. Whoa. Like I said, it's supposed to do it when you hit the park brake, but it keeps doing it now. Turn off the engine, which makes more sense. Alright, let's go ahead and move back over to FS Economy to see what we've done. Alright, see our 3 passengers says en route. Now it's done. Actually, I think we want log. There we did. 1381. Swap to. Well, we'll go ahead and put that over in the bank. 1381. 68. I think we can look at it a little more in depth. I didn't do this last time. 1,608 was our income. Rented it for a half hour, cost per unit 105. So our rental cost was $54.16. We used $15.69 in fuel. Ground crew fee $160.80. I'm not sure why we had to pay for a ground crew. So that cost, all in all, cost us $176.49. Distance was $4.34. Earnings this flight $1,381.68. Kind of like to look at that one. $10,490. We took $347. Cost us $400 on the rental, or per unit. Cost us $1,514 for that rental. $787.91 on the fuel. $1,049 for a ground crew for Cessna Grand Caravan. Cost us $1,800. So we actually lost money on the distance bonus. That kind of sucks. $66.60 for that one. All right. Well, that's probably going to be it for this episode. Well, I know it's going to be. I'll probably not fly again until tomorrow or something. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode, guys, and I will catch you on the next flight.